3811-877-381-3811. As you see, my beloved audience, we have made some headway in straightening out the legal debate with respect to a soon-to-be disbarred Michael Cohen and his Clinton hack lawyer, Lanny Davis, on this issue of a campaign expenditure. It would appear that some of my colleagues in radio have taken down what I said word for word and regurgitated them. This is a good thing. It's a problem with this business I'm in. They do not like to be professional in terms of giving credit where credit is due. You'll notice I'll read articles sometimes in full, and I will give credit where credit is. It's just a matter of integrity. And I tell young people moving into this business, that's what you really need to do. Be a stand-up person. Okay, fine. But there are other people who still don't get it. And most of them are reporters, and many of them are some of the lawyers who are on TV now. Let me put this as plainly as I know how. If an individual pays a sum of money to another individual involving a matter that arose prior to the campaign, individual A decides to run for office, individual B obviously hasn't. They have a dispute, they have an issue. If individual A, who's going to run for office, or even is announced to run for office, or even is running for office, has decided, you know, this guy is a pain in the ass. He's never going to shut up. He's a disgruntled friend, a disgruntled employee, a disgruntled this, a disgruntled vendor, whatever. In exchange for a non-disclosure agreement, I will pay you a sum of $150,000. I will direct my private counsel to pay you, and then I will pay it personally or through my corporation. That is illegal. Legal. If you decide, you know what, this litigation, I don't need this litigation. Another, I don't need this litigation. I'm going to run for the Senate. I don't need this litigation. I'm directing my personal lawyer, settle the case. I don't want this to be an issue during my campaign. I'm running for the Senate. I don't want this to be an issue for my... And we pay for it out of my private funds, either corporate or individual. Fine. I can think of 1,000 examples. Here's another one. This individual decides he's going to run for president of the United States. Let's say he's from Arkansas. And you have all these women accusing him of sexual abuse and so forth, back when he was the governor of Arkansas. Just you know, hypothetical. And he says, you know what? Anyway, I'm going to run for president of the United States. I don't need all these problems. So let's enter into these non-disclosure agreements with these 2, 3, 4, 5 women, pay them each $50,000 in exchange, a contract. That's perfectly legal. There's nothing illegal about it, and I'm going to prove it to you. The Southern District of New York will never bring a charge against the President of the United States for violating those campaign rules. The same ones that they wrapped on Cohen. Not because you cannot indict a sitting president, as we've talked about before, but because it wouldn't hold up. It wouldn't hold up. It wouldn't be successful. The reason they wrapped these two campaign so-called violations around Michael Cohen is because Michael Cohen's lawyer wanted them. It's because Michael Cohen wanted them because now he can claim that he's a patriot. He's got a reset button and maybe a few less tax fraud charges. And the Southern District, which is very close to Mr. Mueller, and some of the people on Mr. Mueller's staff come out of the Southern District in New York, they want their impeachment report. But as a matter of law, which is what prosecutors are supposed to be focused on. This is nothing. Nothing. Campaign funds weren't used. The test isn't whether a candidate is free to clean up his mess with his own money or perceived mess. Here's the other issue. Stormy Daniels entered into this agreement. Stormy Daniels was paid money. Stormy Daniels has now violated the agreement and is effectively blackmailing the President of the United States. Let her slip and fall lawyer go into federal court with that one. I think he'll be blown out. What exactly is she suing for? And so the media take the Cohen plea deal, the Lanny Davis plea deal, the prosecutor's plea deal, claim what the prosecutor said, what Lanny Davis is saying, and what Cohen pled to is the law. And now, ladies and gentlemen, now there's more reason to impeach the President of the United States. You've got other knuckleheads out there saying the President is in legal jeopardy. No, he's not. No, he's not. Paid with private funds, non-disclosure agreement, 2 cases. Whether he now, Mr. Dershowitz says if he directed his lawyer to do so and didn't reimburse his lawyer, then you got an issue. No, you don't. First of all, it didn't happen. But no, you don't. As long as the lawyer didn't use campaign funds, which he didn't. Let's take the worst case scenario. If Donald Trump directed Michael Cohen to make payments to both of these women, if he directed Michael Cohen to use his law firms or his trust fund or whatever they want to call it to pay them, and then he would be reimbursed either through a Trump corporation or Donald Trump personally, even if all that happened, so what? So what? As I said on this program yesterday, as I said on Hannity last night, as has been regurgitated by some of the smarter radio hosts who know to listen to what I'm saying, that's not an adjudication. There's been no adjudication. There's been a plea bargain. And I hear people, even smart lawyers, so-called, on Fox and other places saying, well, he might be an unindicted co-conspirator. An unindicted co-conspirator? Even the prosecution hasn't claimed that this campaign was an unindicted co-conspirator. They're projecting. They didn't say it. And they couldn't say it. And they dare not say it. So people want Trump to have violated the law. Mr. Cohen is trying to remake himself. Lanny Davis has serious questions, as far as I'm concerned, ethical questions about his representation. He's been bashing Trump all day, barely even talks about his client. The prosecutors are having drinks every night. They're thrilled with what they've achieved here because they have Lanny Davis as the opposing counsel. I didn't even know Lanny Davis was a criminal defense lawyer. I thought he was a lobbyist. They got Michael Cohen. Look, you got 2 of the dumbest lawyers in the country here. And you got the prosecutors who get an easy plea deal. When what really Michael Cohen did, apparently, is he didn't pay his income taxes for 5 or 6 years to the tune of millions and millions of dollars. He lied on loans to the tune of millions and millions of dollars. So they throw in these campaign things. Lanny Davis wanted them in there. Michael Cohen wants them in there. He wants good editorials by the New York Times. He wants to be talked up by Joe Scarborough and dumb people like that. So worst case scenario, according to the left, President directs his private lawyer to enter into non-disclosure agreements with 2 women about events that took place even before he was president of the United States. Make the payments. Clean this up. We don't want this during the campaign. And then he reimburses his private lawyer out of either private funds or corporate funds. So what? Well, it made him look better during the campaign. That's not the test. Well, it may have influenced the outcome of campaign. BS. But that's still not the test. There's lots of things that are legal that may influence the outcome of a campaign, that may make a candidate look positive. Everything's not illegal. And a non-disclosure agreement paid with private funds is not illegal. Matter of fact, it's done every damn day in this country. It's been done by the Southern District of New York. It's been done by virtually every U.S. Attorney's office in this country. It's been done by the Department of Justice. It's been done by the New York Attorney General's office, the DNC, and all the rest of them. But they call it hush money when it comes to Trump. Oh, hush money. Shh, hush money. Now, up on Capitol Hill, they're entering into these agreements, hush money, settlements, with our tax dollars. With our tax dollars. Not with their private money, with our tax dollars. Anybody charged with anything up there? Of course not. Well, doesn't that make their campaigns look better? Were those campaign violations? I don't know. Is the U.S. Attorney in Washington, D.C. looking into all these people? Apparently not. How about the public integrity section at the criminal division under Mr. Rosenstein and Mr. Sessions? Are they looking into these deals that Congress made? Apparently not. Why? Well, we don't want to mess around with them. You know, separation of powers and everything. Congress has to clean up its act. So let me get this straight. If a member of Congress uses your tax dollars to settle a sexual harassment allegation in exchange for a non-disclosure agreement, uses your tax dollars in order to try and cover it up so they can run for re-election, already public officials, run for re-election in order to have a positive image, to influence the election, to quote the Southern District of New York U.S. Attorney or Deputy U.S. Attorney. Is that not a felony? Well, I think it is. I think it is, according to the Southern District of New York and all these commentators. Well, let's drag these little bastards out of Congress and let's prosecute them then. Some of them calling for Trump's impeachment. That's a closer case. Using tax dollars, that raises different issues, as far as I'm concerned, more serious legal issues. But if somebody pays for a non-disclosure agreement, whatever they're seeking not to have revealed, it's an agreement, it's an exchange, it's a contract. He uses his own money, she uses her own money, or they use corporate funds under certain circumstances. It's not a campaign contribution. That is ridiculous. The Southern District of New York got away with a real doozy because defense counsel was Lanny Davis, moron of morons, and a Hillary Clinton goon, running all over TV wherever he can, trashing Trump. How come they don't get regular lawyers? How come they have these irregular lawyers, these political lawyers? Stormy Daniels, Michael Cohen? Well, that should answer your question. But for the fourth time, if a candidate or would-be candidate enters into a non-disclosure agreement with an individual who's disgruntled for whatever the reason and pays them funds out of their own pocket, directly or indirectly, it's legal. It's not even reportable. It's not a campaign contribution. If they settle a lawsuit because they don't want the mess of a lawsuit to get involved in their campaign, not illegal. And you can make a whole list of things that they're allowed to do with their own money. Non-disclosure agreements or no non-disclosure agreements for the purpose of influencing election by appearing to be positive, by creating a more positive image, and so forth and so on. Absolutely nothing wrong with it. I hear this former Deputy Assistant Attorney General. There's a lot of Deputy Assistant Attorney Generals. When I was Chief of Staff to the Attorney General of the United States, I didn't even know half their names. Every office in there, Assistant Attorney General Civil Division, Assistant Attorney General Antitrust Division, Assistant Attorney General Civil Rights Division, Assistant Attorney General Criminal Division, Assistant Attorney General Legislative Affairs, Assistant Attorney General for Management, on and on and on. And then they have deputies. Oh, a deputy. I see this guy on TV. He doesn't know his you-know-what from a you-know-what. I'll be right back.
Mark